Most ponds will run off just one pump, but often people want to have multiple places where the water is sent. For example, I love bog filters, but they like a slow and steady flow, whereas streams and waterfalls need lots of flow. We also might want to add in some circulation jets to help move water from beaches, the bottom of the pond, or just keep water flowing in stagnant areas. When we add in all these different elements, we need to be able to regulate the flow. And for some reason, I see a lot of people in the Ozponds community struggling with how to configure their plumbing lines. So I'm making a video to explain how you can run your lines to accommodate multiple goals. And if you're new here and you don't know me, my name is Kev, and I help people build and maintain their ponds without spending a fortune. If that sounds good to you, you might like to subscribe and visit my website ozponds.com. I have a system that I use for all my ponds. Basically, it lets me size everything before I start digging. It'll tell me the size of my bog filter, the intake bay or skimming system. It'll help me calculate my flow rates required for the pump. If I want to add streams, waterfalls or jets, it'll help me work out the calculation for those as well. It helps with lots of other things, but the different flow rates are relevant for this particular video. So normally in an ideal world, I prefer to get one pump to run my main filter system, which is the bog filter. And then I'd get additional pumps for the other features. This allows me to know exactly how much flow is going through my bog filter. The bog filter will often form a headwater to a stream or a waterfall. And like I mentioned earlier, often these waterfalls, streams or other creations require more flow than the bog filter does. So if you want to use just one pump, you need enough flow for the bog and the waterfall, the stream, or whatever else you want to use that excess water for. And when you start directing water here, there and everywhere, you need to have control. Water's going to take the path of least resistance, and water that's under pressure when it's being pumped will behave differently to water that's not under pressure, say after it's passed through the bog filter and it's returning to the pond. This is why you'll often hear me say that the overflow from the bog filter needs to be larger than the inflow. The inflow's under pressure and the outflow isn't. And then if we have a plumbing line that goes straight to the bog filter and we want to branch another one off, you'll find that most of that water will want to keep travelling straight when it's under pressure. Whereas if those lines were just fed by gravity, it'd most likely take the path of the greatest slope downhill. That's the path of least resistance. I hope that makes sense. So if we want to have full control over what goes where, we just need to add some valves that allow us to adjust the amount of water going to each line. And here's where I've seen multiple people come undone. They assume the water will just do what they want, and so they just add a valve to one section of the line where they think the water will go. But you need flexibility. If you have a valve on both lines, you have full control over where the water will go, and you can really fine-tune it. Think of it like the hot and cold water taps in your house. You have full control over how much hot and cold water comes out. In my ponds, I like PVC ball valves. These can be easily glued to any PVC pipe, whether it's flexible or rigid. And if you go for that ribbed pond pipe, you're probably going to need to use barb fittings and threaded fittings, and I find that a bit of a pain. I find them also more likely to leak, but if that's your only option, then that's your only option. The other thing about your valves is that they're useless if you can't easily access them. You'll probably find that over time you'll need to or want to adjust certain things, and you can't do that if the valves are inaccessible. Okay, so here's a few examples, and you'll see that sometimes I cheat a little. It's a case of do as I say, not what I do. On this pond I have a bog filter in a barrel, and it feeds a small stream, and that's how the water returns to the pond. The bog filter needs a bit less flow than the stream, so I allow excess water to flow out of the breather pipe, and I have a valve there so I can regulate how much comes out of that breather hole. If you don't know about the breather hole and why it's important, you can watch this video next. It'll help explain the principles there. But on this particular pond, I only needed a little extra flow for the stream, and I know that the bulk of the water will travel straight down into the filter. I also know that the water inside the bog, along with all the rock and the pebble, creates some back pressure, and therefore some water will want to push out via the breather hole. Therefore, the breather hole has a valve that allows me to control how much water comes out over the surface of the bog filter and how much is forced up through the filter. If I had a really powerful pump because I wanted a bigger stream or waterfall, I would need to make sure that I had full control over how much water goes down into the base of the bog. But here I still wanted the majority of the flow going down to the base of the bog, so I only have one valve. I hope that makes sense. In this pond, the pump sits in a small DIY skimmer, so there wasn't a lot of room for multiple pumps, so having just the one pump made a lot of sense. Here's a completely different pond, and this one I call my ornamental aquaponics. On this pond, the flow goes into an aquaponic style bog filter that sits above the pond. The other line goes to a section of PVC pipe with holes cut in for plants to grow. Both lines run off the one pump. Both sections have a valve that I can adjust, so I have full control over how much goes to the pipes with the plants and how much goes to the bog filter. When I sized the pump, I made sure I could pump the water as high as I needed, and I had enough flow for both the bog filter and the plants in the pipe section. One more example is what I call my dream pond. Now this one has multiple pumps, but one of those pumps runs some circulation jets. Each jet has a valve so that I have flexibility to determine where I want the most flow. Again, the water wants to travel straight, so without the valves, the majority of the flow would want to go straight to the end of the line. I also reduced the size of the pipes to the jets, and so even with the valve fully open, there's still too much flow in the entire line for all of the water to come out of just that one jet at the end. But without the valve, it would still get the most flow. But with valves on all of the jets, I have full control over which jet gets which flow. Measuring the flow is a pain, and that's why I almost always just have one dedicated pump for the filter. It's just easier to know exactly how much water your filter is getting. I also like to use variable speed pumps, and that gives me a heap of flexibility. A bog filter already has a lot of flexibility, and it doesn't need to be exactly perfect. We just want to get in the ballpark of a nice slow and steady flow. I do have a calculator on the Ozponds website and more details in my step-by-step guide, but basically the 6-time rule allows for some pipe friction and head loss, and again variable speed pumps are great. But if you need to measure the flow, here's a few ways to do it, and if you have any other options, please let me know in the comments. The first way is to connect a hose or something you can use to fill a bucket. You can then calculate how long it takes to fill the bucket and work out your flow rate that way. You could also get a flow meter and connect it if you want to be accurate, but again it's a bit of a pain. I'm pretty lazy, so I'll go with, well, I kind of want half here, I kind of want half there, and I'll regulate the valves accordingly and then just monitor the pond over time. I don't care what the exact flow rate to the filter or waterfall are as long as I'm getting the results I want. If I'm happy, that's fine. The valves just let you play around with the ideal flow, so you can experiment and find the sweet spot for your setup. So I think the key takeaways are if you're using one pump for multiple elements, just make sure you have plenty of flow to work with. If the pump is undersized, it's never going to work. And make sure you add valves to each component so you have full control over where the water goes. If you're looking for guides on how to size the elements in your pond or links to useful products, visit ozponds.com. And if you want to see how I design my ponds, you might like to watch this video next. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching. See ya.